This video is brought to you by Surfshark VPN. The holidays are here, you may be getting a new PC, or maybe you're giving your grandma a new computer. Maybe you should go the extra step and add a layer of security before she sets everything on fire. In the modern world, surveillance, web limitation, and data mining are everywhere, going under the nose of many unaware consumers. Comcast, please go away, you are awful. But with Surfshark VPN, you do have an easy one-for-all solution. No matter your product, Windows, Android, or Apple products, with a click of a button, Surfshark turns you into an anonymous and hard-to-track user. Giving you more freedom on the internet keeps you away from prying eyes and prevents companies from doing things like geo-blocking, where video and streaming services limit your libraries simply because of where you live.
What?
Surfshark makes all that a non-issue though. You start out their service, choose a location, refresh the page, and there you go, your favorite show that you couldn't watch before. I don't know why that's a thing. It's an incredibly stupid thing, but it is indeed a thing. And those that use the link in the description below and enter the special code Johnny will not only get 83% off their initial order, but the next 4 months are also completely free. Happy holidays. Thanks to Surfshark VPN for the sponsor. Now let's continue on with the show.
Are you ready for round 2?
And welcome back to round 2, where I take a second look at a game I already reviewed either because of patch updates, downloadable content, whatever warrants a second visit. And isn't this the most glorious Christmas tree you ever seen in your life? Look at this piece of shit. It's the most bare fucking tree I ever had displayed for the season, because I can't decorate it too much because I got this numbnuts over here picking at it every waking day of my life. I don't think I ever introduced you guys properly to Diego. Is a new cat that I adopted a couple of months ago, since August actually. Yeah, it's been a while. I never really got the idea to show him off in a new video, but yeah, I got a second cat. His name is Diego. He's quick buddies with Celine. They lounge around pretty much all day now until Diego decides to be an absolute fucking shit fiend and just climb all over the place and tear things down. He's the reason why, again, this tree is in the sad state that it's in. But whatever, we're not here to talk about Diego. Not yet anyway. Let's talk Shantae. And I'm happy to say that this time I'm looking back on Shantae's latest endeavor, Shantae and the Seven Sirens, a game I reviewed during the summer of last year that saw Shantae return to the Metroidvania formula after Half Genie Hero went the Mega Man route, which was a little weird despite that game still being a great time, especially with the Ultimate Edition. Seven Sirens didn't get an Ultimate Edition per se, but earlier this month, Wayforward gave us a pleasant surprise anyway, releasing an update for Seven Sirens that includes a couple new modes, like a new beginner mode in case you just want to breeze by and enjoy the story, to which I say, the original game was already a cakewalk, so just play that. And you can still do that with the game's legacy mode in case you're not big on the update. The most prominent inclusion was Definitive Mode, which rebalances the game in a couple of ways. If you recall, or if you need a refresher, Seven Sirens was a game I wanted to like a lot more. The presentation was great, and I liked the animated cutscenes, but I also wasn't a fan of the half-baked voice acting, how only certain lines were voiced and all that. And that was a problem I also have with Half Genie Heroes. It's like going back to back with the same shit. And reflecting on the plot, I mean, it was fine to experience again on a second playthrough, but man, I forgot how unlikable they made Sky in this, being so unwilling to help Shantae in her endeavor, which is so unlike her previous ventures. The other half genies being so underutilized still stings a bit. They bring us more of Shantae's kind, and then they give him the Princess Peach treatment. Well, I can only hope the next game they clearly want to make resolves this. They leave a blatant loose end that sacrifices some closure of this plot, so here's hoping the long game pays off. Shantae was fast on her feet, combat was as smooth as previous adventures. The new animal transformations captured a great balance between Shantae's traditional genie powers and the pirate stuff from Pirate's Curse, which remains my personal favorite in the series to this day. The new monster card system reminded me a lot of the Castlevania Sorrow duology and Bloodstained Ritual of the Night. I deeply appreciated the sort of experimentation Seven Sirens encouraged. The problem was the rest of the game just didn't follow suit. The map design, not a fan. There were too many one-way exits that required you to go the long way around when the game asked you to backtrack for items, and the healthy amount of warp points did little to mitigate this. I didn't think they were placed in ideal locations. The abundance of load times broke my immersion constantly, and all the new fusion dances, despite the cool graphics that popped up, basically all functioned identically, making them feel mundane. The game was also very brain dead, personally ranking as the easiest game in the series to me with how much food dropped from enemies and how enemies simply didn't challenge you enough to justify going after all the store upgrades or even those elusive monster cards. After my first playthrough, I wasn't compelled to play the game fully a second time, not even in the extra magic mode. Now, does the new Definitive Mode justify a revisit besides fulfilling an obligation for this very video? Yes and no. Firstly, I love that the load times have been reduced substantially, and for added clarity, I'm playing the PC version on the exact same rig I played the original release on last year, but this time not once did I see that dreaded dancing gif in the black void. That's great, I'm not sure if that came with the update or that was patched in earlier, but I'm glad the game is more optimized. Still no battle armor though, and seeing Shantae in this badass biker outfit when selecting rule breaker mode is... Look, I'm just saying, you can give the next game a lot of replayability just by giving Shantae more outfits like Half Genie Hero did in the Ultimate Edition. Fans are that shameless, so milk them for what they're worth. Don't lie to me, you buy it, I'd buy it. Let me play as biker Shantae. But yes, besides the new beginner mode, there is rule breaker mode, where there's no limit to the number of cards you can equip. You gotta get them first, so you still have to grind to really take advantage of it, so in a way it's not that different than regular definitive mode at first, but eventually you'll be an unstoppable god. It's definitive mode that gets more unhinged the more you play. Full deck mode gives you every card from the start. It reminds me of Magician mode from Circle of the Moon, the first Castlevania game on the GBA. I can see this being great for speedruns, as the game does give you a different completion reward based on time. Less time on grinding, more time on losing control of your tortoise and accidentally soft-locking yourself. And that actually happened to me too, I was so fucking confused. They gave the Sirens actual dialogue before you begin their encounter. Originally, they were just boss fights in the purest meaning, showing little to no personality outside of their cutscenes, which I found so odd because the Shantae series is usually better about that sort of thing. This is not a complete game changer, but some of the new banter was good for a laugh, so kudos on fixing that bit. Food drops have been toned down considerably. The lower tier stuff still drops at a healthy rate, but the fancier food items have been given lower percentages. I think food also heals for less altogether, which puts emphasis on using the proper monster cards to get the most out of them. Or you can just head to the shop and buy those potions and auto potions in bulk, which aren't that expensive and was all I bought by the second half of the journey. Even with the difficulty tweaks, I didn't feel compelled to purchase most of the extra attack items because I found the basic hair attack and scimitar special to be all I really needed. It carried me to the end of the game. And I think MP costs all around have been cranked up big time for both items and dances anyway. I found myself, especially early on, having to use magic potions just to have the mana needed to progress, and it only got a little better after purchasing the HP and MP saver. This did make progression a little cumbersome, but I did admire how it made money feel more important, whether it be from enemies or all those inexpensive pots. I didn't miss an opportunity to score some extra cash because that layer of comfort was all the more pleasing. For exploration, more things have been marked on the map, like all those caverns that might have had those hard squids for health upgrades, those golden nuggets, thank Christ. Plot important things are also more consistently marked too, so you always know exactly where to go, though you still need to figure out some things for yourself. However, if even that is too much, there is a new hint system that will just straight up tell you when you can use a specific dance to either get a required item or some extra cash, and good lord, without this, I would have never realized how many rooms in the game had those hidden cash pots. My magic meter was screaming by the end of it all, but my money was growing, so I didn't find it all that bad. Because of these changes and additions, my playthrough of definitive mode was about 3 hours faster than my first run for my initial review. And I should stress, I haven't played this game completely since that video, so there wasn't much muscle memory to tap into. I only recalled a couple of things to make it easier, but for some areas I might as well have been going in blind again. The first couple of hours though were not very pleasant. The reduced food drops made it so I couldn't be as reckless as before, and that's good, I like when my reflexes and brain juices get going. But it also highlighted just how dickish enemy placement is for the first few areas. I actually died a couple of times in this playthrough because I kept getting blindsided by ill-placed enemies. The spiders especially, they fucking went overboard with them. And the red ones later do an almost obscene amount of damage. I think I didn't notice this so much before because on top of enemies doing less damage altogether, I had so much food to restore health, I just fucking ate a crab and pressed on, ain't no skin off my back. So before it didn't seem like that big of a deal to me, but now that you're starving for a bit, you're like, oh, how the fuck was I supposed to know that was there? And unless they get retooled in a future game, these dudes just need to go. There's no skill to these guys. You can hit them when the game says you can, and sometimes depending on their placement, they're next to impossible to strike because of their invincibility frames when they get to do that dash attack. Just use the appropriate dance when you can, assuming you got the mana for it. I think everything hits harder this go around, and the Siren battles have been also tweaked to be way more aggressive and harder to beat. The third Siren gave me the most shit because of just how fucking fast she moves now. Honestly, sometimes I felt I just got lucky scoring a hit instead of just like using skill to determine when I can use like the ground pound. She jitters left and right so fucking fast, how are you supposed to be accurate with this shit? But once I spent enough money on the upgrades I wanted, because there are just some things here I don't really care about that don't justify the mana usage, things started to ease up. Shit, I didn't even really need food anymore because I always had more than enough money to stock up on potions and mana so that I can just brute force through everything. Risky, the Sirens, yeah, I'm good. Definitive Mode mostly lives up to its name. If I ever think about going back to Seven Sirens after this video, it'd be this mode I choose, or Rule Breaker or Full Deck mode if I'm feeling crazy. But the added perks do nothing to change the game's fundamental problems, the bare world design offering nothing from exploration besides health upgrades and a couple of special monster cards. How all the magical dances basically do the same thing functionally speaking. I mean, the refresh dance restores some health and that's nice, but I think there needed to be more distinctions between dances besides different graphics. And above all else, the game's repetitious 1-2-3 structure. New dungeon, risky mini-boss, then the siren battle with no other unique set piece to set this adventure apart from the other games. Something I attribute to this game being developed for Apple Arcade originally before getting greenlit for consoles. That's just what I feel anyway. I don't know, it could have been this is what they just wanted to do for this game. The game is better than previously, and I'm happy certain issues were addressed. I've even warmed up to the game's soundtrack since last year. Still not as good as the other games, Jake Kaufman wasn't available for this one, and Half Genie Hero for me really set the bar high, but Professor Sakamoto's contributions still do a good job. I've really fallen in love with the bathhouse theme, Mountain Travel East, Sunken Shipyard, and the Boiler. But Seven Sirens at its core remains a weaker entry compared to Half Genie Hero and Pirate's Curse, though now I would easily put it above the original Shantae and Risky's Revenge. It's still around $30, but with the new additions, it's a price I think meets the quality of the content. So for the holidays, maybe consider adding Seven Sirens to your backlog, because let's be real, that's where everything goes nowadays. People don't actually play new games anymore. Where the hell do you think I've been the last couple of weeks? Playing Final Fantasy XIV. That game came out in 2010. Alright, so before the new year drops, in a couple of days, I want to give you guys a special Somecallmejohnny Direct to give you guys an idea, an update of what I have in store for 2022, what I'd like to cover and then some, and I hope you guys look forward to that. In the meantime, I hope your holidays are festive. Christmas, Kwanzaa, Hanukkah, I don't give a fuck what you celebrate. Just have a good time, and I'll see you guys, as always, with the next video. Thank you all for watching. Stay safe, wash your hands, wear a mask if you decide to go outside, get vaccinated if possible. Have yourselves a fantastic night, and take care.